Hello and welcome to the Mana Curve. My name is Christopher and I'll be your host today. And today we're going to explore a topic of if you're a new Magic the Gathering player, what is the best way to start? So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. So again, welcome back. My name is Christopher and we're going to start this off, for brand new Magic the Gathering players, what is the best way to start? You got multiple formats out there. You got over 13,000 unique cards. What is the best way and easiest way to get started off in this game? So for me, in my opinion, to start off, you need to know a little bit about, kind of what you're dealing with. So what is Magic the Gathering? Magic the Gathering is a strategic collectible card game. And I've added the word strategic because technically it is labeled as a collectible card game, which it is. But I say strategic because you're getting all these cards. They got to work with each other. You can't just throw cards in your hand and be like, all right, I'm good to go. Because that's not really going to work for you. There is actually quite a bit of luck depending on, what you draw. That can happen well, or if your game's not going to go at all. It's collectible because each card in here is technically a work of art. They spend a lot of time on the pictures that go into these cards. They now have full art cards, full art lands, and on those, I don't think I've seen a card yet that is just something absolutely atrocious. Why do over 20 million players play this game? Because it's fun, it's challenging. With over 13,000 cards to choose from, it's almost limitless on what you can do. Okay, so now that we got this little grouping out of the way, what we're going to look now is, this pre-constructed 60 card deck. What I got was Elspeth, if I'm even saying that right. So we're going to open this up, we're going to take a look at it together, and just see what comes in it. Okay, now to look at the Elspeth deck. So we're doing this on our little playmat we got from Blitzkrieg Gaming Comics. Little goblin riding a bum. It's actually very cute. Don't judge me. Alright, well let's get to cracking this open and see what you really get in one of these 60 card decks. That way there's really no room for guessing. So there's glue. And it's really not terribly hard to open. Be open. Okay, so you got box. You then have plastic, of course. And then you got your deck. And you got your Elspeth card actually here in the front. Be careful taking this out because you don't want to rip it or anything. Not to think that it's worth anything or much, but you definitely don't want to rip it because you want it to be playable. And it is a foil version, so on this it does gleam in the lamplight. So this is going to tell you just right here on top that this should be a white only deck with the 2 generic and then 3 plains symbols up here in the top left. So let's see what we get in this deck. Just as far as how they pieced it together. So one of the main reasons I like these pre-constructed decks is it comes with these, hey, before you play, little inserts, because these, again, are made for new players. So it says, what are Planeswalkers? We've got to read that through. Planeswalkers are formidable allies you can summon to fight alongside you. Once a Planeswalker is on your side of the battlefield, you can start using their abilities right away. Because they are so powerful, you will want to focus on defeating your opponent's Planeswalkers. When you declare attackers, you can choose whether each creature is attacking an opponent or a Planeswalker they control. Your opponent can block as normal to protect their Planeswalker whenever damage is dealt to a Planeswalker that many loyalty counters are removed. So here they have Chandra, Flame's Fury. She comes out with 4. And when she comes out, you can also do +1 Chandra Flame Fury deals 2 damage to any target. And that's always nice. So once per turn, anytime you could cast a sorcery or activate, one of your Planeswalker's loyalty abilities. When you do, add or remove the corresponding number of loyalty counters. You can use dice to keep track of your Planeswalker loyalty counters. Planeswalkers enter the battlefield with a number of loyalty counters on their starting loyalty, which is printed in the lower right-hand corner of the card. If your Planeswalker loses all its loyalty counters, put it in your graveyard. So pretty straightforward. It also tells a little bit of how Elspeth and how to play the deck, which is really a really good thing, because you don't want to just go in. This is about if you're playing a random deck, you're not going to know what it's going to do, and it's actually going to put you at a bigger disadvantage. Which is one reason why I said go to Arena and actually punch in the code, and it'll give you this deck. So, Elspeth, Undaunted Hero. Elspeth is a mighty hero, one of the greatest warriors in the multiverse has ever seen. Countless lives would have been cut short had she not risked her own to protect them. Dragged on the last great conflict on Theros, she struck down a false god, only to be killed by the sun god she once served. But the world still needs her, so she's climbing out of the underworld to fight for justice again. So all that's just a little bit of the lore, which I always like. So this 60 card deck is ready for battle, so don't start adding new cards just yet. Play a few games to understand how your deck works, then open the included booster packs. Which these, if you're going to buy booster packs, they're about $7 a piece, I think. Playing the deck, so Elspeth's strength, speed, and martial skill complement her powerful protective magic to make her an excellent leader. Steadily develop an army of creatures with abilities to help them power up and protect each other. Pressure your opponents with bigger and bigger attacks, then use Elspeth's ultimate ability to strike the killing blow. Terms to know: First Strike. The First Strike ability lets a creature deal its damage first in combat, which that's a totally different video. It may finish off an opponent's creature before the creature can strike back. So, just FYI, combat works in First Strike. You got Second Strike, or if you have Double Strike, you strike, twice. And yeah, that's just a different beast in itself when we come to actually how to play in card interaction. Flash, a spell with flash can be cast anytime you can cast an instant. So instants can be pretty much cast anytime you have priority. Doesn't always have to be on your turn. Flying, a creature with flying can be blocked by only other creatures with flying or creatures with reach. So just some quick terms, so it gives you a little bit of a rundown in these, which is always good when you're buying a pre-constructed deck, because it tells you about the deck itself, and you don't want to go in there really blind or anything like that. And so let's open up this. I'm bad at opening up plastic personally, so I always have a cutting object. Be careful not to just cut through your cards or yourself. Please have an adult if you are not. So on this, the arena code is in the back, so I'll set that aside. So what do you get in this? Okay, first off, you got your Elspeth. Then you got legendary creature, human soldier, vigilance. Then you got 2 Elspeth's devotee. Then you got Acheron of Fallen Stars. Then Daxos, blessed by the sun. You got another Falling Stars. 4 Chimeras, which you can have 4 of any kind in a 60 card deck, which definitely helps your card pool. Got 4 Linen of the Lost Pride. Got 3 Eidolon of Inspiration. So 4 Sunlit Hopdial, or what? Hoplite. Don't judge my reading. These are going to be your land cards, which... Okay. Alright, so your land, they're all basic lands from the looks of it. So nothing, just really impressive there other than just pretty cards. You're going to set those aside. So, Dreadful Apathy. Okay, we're still. Indominate Will. Karamitra's Blessing. Again, don't make fun of my reading because I, am very bad at that, especially with some of these names. Phalanx Tactics. And then you got just a couple more cards that are explaining what's in, what's what. All right. This card here, it says on your turn, basically it gives you your turn phase. So on your turn, you begin, you untap, turn cards upright, draw a card. Your main phase, play land, only one per turn. Cast creatures and other spells. Combat, you're going to declare attackers, your opponent declares blockers, and then combat damage is dealt. You get a second main phase, and you plan a land card if you haven't already, then cast creatures and or other spells. And then end. Your creatures heal, and you pass the turn. So these are always, really helpful if you just need to remember, just the phases and stuff everything goes in. So on this, looking around, just, what they have here, other than the demigod, which is probably the one she was killed by. And that's just something of just a little bit of lore. So on this, you got, 4 instances here. And so these are the only 4 you can cast outside of your turn. Let's see what these do. Starting here on the bottom right. Target creature you control gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Each other creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So on these, this would be good if you're attacking with your creatures. You're probably going to want to cast these if they're going to block it with even bigger creatures. Because this will definitely, it comes out of nowhere. It only costs 2, which is, notified here on the top. Sometimes when your opponent is just trying to block, they're trying to block with something that just has, 1 more power and toughness than you do. And, if it's just 1 more, you could possibly save your creature and kill theirs still. Your other instance, there's actually 3 here. So this is Kamitra's Blessing. And I really think I said that one right. So I'm impressed with myself. It is an instant, and this target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If it's an enchanted creature or enchantment creature, it also gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. It can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. That's the hexproof part. And then damage and effects that say destroy don't destroy it. So that means damage won't destroy this either. Because when you kill something, you basically destroy it with damage if you're, one creature is blocking another one. So this is a good one as well, just again, if somebody just is throwing a blocker out there to keep you from hitting them, and it might be something that again just has 1 or 2 more health than your own creature, you could possibly save your creature and again kill theirs. So the other things we're going to look at, we're going to go ahead and let's look at these enchantments here. So we got enchantment wars here. I'll go ahead and just move these over here. Kind of have to move these down with the camera a little bit, which I really don't know why these are in, the others aren't. All right, not gonna play with that too much. So enchantment auras, we got 3, 6. So these will play off of Kamitra's Blessing, which if it's enchanted creature, which you got 6 here, it's gonna make that creature indestructible. So this is always a good thing, and Kamitra's Blessing was only cost 1, so that's definitely one you can just leave a land unlocked for, and that's definitely a surprise for your opponent. So on this first one, this costs 2 generic mana and then 1 white. Enchant creature. Enchant creature can't attack or block. So, and then for its casting cost again, exile enchanted creature. So, well, this isn't for yours, so it's for theirs. So if they got big creatures out there and stuff like that, block it down. You know, enchanted creature can't attack or block. It's just literally a creature, and if they go to, you know, try and unblock it or anything like that, you can exile it instead. Which any creatures that have indestructible can still be exiled. So that's definitely a good tactic to keep in your hand. Next one is Indomitable Will. So it has flash, so you can cast it any time. And it's enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +1/+2, so it's a boost, and that definitely does pair well with Kamitra's Blessing. So again, you can save your creatures, and it makes them a little bit tougher, and you cast it any time, so that's an even bigger bonus there. Alright, so let's look at your creatures. We'll start off with the commons here, and just kind of go up the list. So this one is one generic and one white, and Sunlit Hoplite. Yeah, Hoplit, something. As long as it's your turn, Sunlit Hoplit. I kind of want to say a light, but has first strike. So anytime it's your turn, if you're looking at your little card here, on your combat phase, when damage is dealt, it's going to deal damage first. So as long as it's your turn, Sunlit Hoptile has first strike. Sunlit Hoptile gets +1/+0 as long as you control Elspeth Plaines Walker. So it's an even bigger boost if you're able to get that card out. So that's not bad at all. So Daybreak Chimera, it's a 3/3, 3 generic, and then 2 white. And it has in the script here, this spell costs X less to cast, where X is your devotion to white. So your devotion is anything here that has white on it is your devotion. I don't know if you actually see it. So white. So this is 2 devotion. So if you have one of these out and you're playing another one, it's going to cost you know, 2 generic mana less. So this will actually be 2 white and, you know, 1 generic. If you have 2 of them out, it's basically just 2 white. So that's actually not a bad card, and it has flying, so it can block flyers, or it needs, you know, someone with flying or reach to be able to block that as well. On the wait, we just read that, didn't we? Yeah, we did read that. Whoops, sorry. All right, so on the Leonin of the Lost Pride. When Lost Pride dies, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. So anybody who may or may not have cards that, you know, just play stuff from their graveyard, you can actually exile some of those cards out of there so they can't get them back. So that's never, you know, just a bad thing. And, you know, it's a 3/1, so it can do some damage, but it's going to die pretty easy as well. So let's look at your uncommons. So, Archaon of Falling Stars. Flying. When Archaon of Falling Star dies, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, so if this dies and you had a creature die with an enchantment on it, you just bring it back, so that's not bad. As long as you got another creature to enchant it for, and this is going to be 4 generic and 2 white. So, I mean, for me, it has a good ability, but I think that's a bit costly, because if you really think about it, on turn 6, you're not going to be able to get this out until then. So by then, the game is definitely in full swing. So the next one, single card, Daxos, Blessed by the Sun, legendary enchantment creature, demigod. Daxos' toughness is equal to your devotion to white. When another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain 1 life. Oh, so that's not bad. So anytime a creature dies or you bring it back, that's pretty good. So this is actually just 2 white. So if we have the 2 white to do this, then I believe my understanding here, this would be a 2/2. So, and then when you start throwing out more, your devotion should end up going up. So then you just got a really good blocker here. And those are never a bad thing to have. So this next one, it's going to be Eidolon of Inspiration, enchantment creature spirit. It's another, uncommon. At the beginning of your combat, on your turn, target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So this is definitely a good way to boost what you already have. I think you can boost him as well, or boost your Daxos Blessed by the Sun, or your Archeon of Falling Stars. Just anything here that would be a good thing to boost. Just to get just extra damage out there and help you kind of clear out that damage or clear out that game pretty good. So this next one is going to be missed uncommon. And this is why you put stuff in order. So this one is Creature Human Soldier. It's 3 generic and a white. Hero of the Winds. Flying. When you cast a spell that targets Hero of the Winds, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So if you enchant and cast an aura spell or anything like that, target him, and other creatures you control get +1/+0 to end of turn. So again, if you have one of these flash cards here, that would definitely be a good tactic to cast on one of these as you're attacking it to again just boost up all that damage and hopefully close that game out a lot quicker. Alright, so now let's go to your rares. So on this one, it's Elspeth's Devotee. When Elspeth's Devotee enters the battlefield, you may search your library and or graveyard for a card named Elspeth Undaunted Hero, reveal it, and put it in your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. So actually that's pretty good. So which one? Elspeth's Devotee is the other one here, as I'm trying to read it. So basically, if you got one of these already out, it dies, or you only got one of these out, you can search your library or your graveyard for another one of these cards. And they only gave you 2 here, which is kind of unfortunate. I can see 4 being a little bit better. And that'll definitely help you get creatures onto the board. But, I mean, all in all, I think for 2 generic and 2 white, that's actually a decent card. And it definitely will go with every, for the most part, everything you got in here just to try and get creatures on the board. So we'll set that off to the side, and then our next rare is going to be Tranika Acheron Veteran. And again, I probably slaughtered that entirely. It's going to be 1 generic and 2 white, so it's pretty cheap. It has Vigilance, so it doesn't untap when it attacks or blocks. So basically, it just stays this way. Whenever Tranika Acheron Veteran attacks, untap another target creature you control. Until end of turn, that creature has base power and toughness of 4/4 and gains indestructible. So that's actually pretty good. That works well with any of your other creatures out there. Could make them stronger and make them to where they can't be removed from the board. So that's definitely a good card to have out there and just have, attack every turn if possible. Alright, last but not least, this is our only mythic in the entire set and the front page card. So Elspeth Undaunted Hero, she costs 2 generic and 3 white. She's a legendary Plaines Walker, Elspeth, of course. So when she comes out, she has 5 loyalty counters. That's always something good. Her first ability is you can +2 her and put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. So you can put 2 +1/+1 counters on your little Sunlit Hopdials or your Land of Lost Pride and just make them, either 4/2 or 3/2. So then that'll bring them up to 7. You can -2. And search your library and or graveyard for a card named Sunlit Hoplite and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it, of course, because they can't let you know where your cards are. So it's not a bad way to just, kind of pull these little cheapy cards out, and then the next time, your next turn, you kind of just boost them up. And then if you're able to get her up to 8, which technically 2 turns if you're just throwing, +1/+1 counters out there. The first one will take you to 7, the next one will take you to 8. So, turn 3 that she's out. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain flying and get +X/+X, where X is your devotion to white. So that's, just not a bad, game changing or, game ending event. That actually, so, I mean, all in all, I think this deck would end up playing pretty good, just as is. I mean, I would, like to, for me, I would have liked to see, where did that card go? A couple more of these, I think, would have worked a lot, just a little bit better in here. But that's my opinion. So, I mean, on these, if it was just two more, it would help you just kind of make a chain effect and just get more and more creatures out. But, I mean, overall, I can see, you kind of see if you actually read the cards and everything like that, what this deck is really, just made to do, and that's throw creatures out and just trying to get them to, quickly just close out the game as fast as possible. At least in most cases. If you end up with, a Daybreak Chimera or Aircraft of Falling Stars, it's going to be a while till you cast these because they're high casting costs. Even with Hero of the Winds, that costs 4 to get out. But anything you can cast on turn 1 or turn 2 is actually pretty good just to get, creatures on the board. So I think all in all, for me, again, this is going to be a, just a decent starting deck. And you can definitely see how everything's just going to meld together. As far as the packs, I don't know what's in those. I'm pretty sure it's something completely random. We can go ahead and open those real quick. And just to see what you get, let me just clear off the table. Now I will say, this does come with a box, so if you're new, you're not going to have a box. I don't know if this can actually fit 60 cards sleeved, which, on these, I don't, I didn't price this out, but I don't think there's something terribly expensive in here. I would, at minimum, if you get a deck or anything like that, get a playmat. These, they're pretty thick, they're rubbery, they prevent everything from just kind of sliding around. At minimum, the worst thing you can do is actually, get some expensive cards. You're over here playing, and you just throw one of your expensive cards into a pool of water, which can be very likely because, I got this, desk right behind here. So that's the last thing you really want to do. I do recommend sleeving them, which there are several options out there. They got Ultra Pro that has plenty of good ones. Me personally, I've done Dragon Shield for the most part. These are actually pretty good. They have, if you get the matted, they actually have a pretty good texture to them. And it's pretty much just kind of flip it a little bit. And you just take your little card and tap it in there. Make sure it's at the bottom and your card's protected. Now, again, whether or not this would fit. Let me see. I got another deck box over here. Actually, when you're buying like sleeves, they also got Ultra Pro. These are actually pretty, they're pretty good. They're pretty slick. They work the same way. They're not matted, so when you actually have sleeves on them, they slide a bit more where the others don't. But let's see if you are to just sleeve one of these. These are just some old sleeves I bought for a popper deck. This is 60. Alright, so if you actually have 60, this fits in here barely. I would say just be careful when you're flipping this top lid open because you can get in here and actually damage a card. So if you actually, went out and bought a card that's worth something or got a card that's worth something, you just really want to be careful on this top part. But I mean, it does fit 60 cards sleeved. No extra, which is something you might want to keep in mind. But it does fit. The other thing is, if you're looking for just cheap deck boxes, I mean, I think these are $3 or $4. They're not bad at all. If you're really hard up, they got, just plain white boxes. Your stuff will kind of jimmy around, and you probably put some more cardboard or anything in there just to hold them, which is definitely good to just keep your stuff safe. so these are the 2 packs that came in it. So let me just scoot all this out of the way. Let's see what goes in it, or what comes in it. So these you definitely don't want to open with a sharp object, although they're not easy to open either. So on these, what do you get? All right, so Wings of Hubris. Equipped creature has flying. Sacrifice Wings of Hubris. Equipped creature can't be blocked this turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step, and it costs 1 to equip. So that's 2. That's not bad. Target player loses 2 life. Let's see. Cleric. That's Heliod's Pilgrim. And you may search your library for an aura card and reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. So actually, this will be good to actually stick in that deck we just got. I'm just going to quickly just go over this. I don't think there's going to be anything really, really impressive, at least in the commons or uncommons. Uncommons. Wait, what does that do anyways? Constellation. Whenever your enchantment creature enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. Oh, so that's a good mill thing. Exile target card from graveyard. If it was a creature card, you gain 3 life. Otherwise, you draw a card. Oh, that's not bad. That's for 1. That's also an instant. So let's see. Target creature you control gets +2/+1 till end of turn. Each other creature you control gets +1/+1 till end of turn. So that's not bad for an instant for other creatures. And then we actually got Nylea, Keen-Eyed, as a mythic rare. Or mythic. She's indestructible, legendary enchantment creature, god. As long as your devotion to green is less than 5, Nylea isn't a creature. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And then, pay 2 and 3, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it put it in your graveyard. And she's a 5/6 for 4, so that's not bad if you got a green deck. And then, we got our full art lands, which you would have seen at the beginning of the video. And then a nice little token here. So, with Elspeth being, just a white deck, if we're to pull out white, and then you got an artifact which is any color. If anything in here, Heroes of the Pride, whenever you cast the spell, the target's hero of the Pride, creatures you control. So yeah, that would be good in there. Exile target artifact or enchantment, so that helps with other people. We talked about that one. This would be good in that deck. This would be good just to get things flying. Flying is a simple ability, but at the end of the day, if you don't have nothing with flying, you're not blocking it. All right, so let's see what we got in this other one here. Okay, so here we got Sentinel's Eyes that costs 1, Enchantment Aura, so that'd actually be good because that plays off some of the cards in the Elspeth deck. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has Vigilance, so that's actually really not bad. It's green, but prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. That's always a good card to have. Underworld Charger. Underworld Charger can't block. Escape, exile 3 cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Oh, that's not bad. So if it dies, you just bring it back. And Underworld Charger escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So not bad at all. Another enchantment, Aura, Indomitable Will. Flash enchanted creature gets +1/+2 for 2. So, definitely not bad. Just boost up your creatures. Lee's Huntsman. Enters the battlefield. Target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn. So that's not bad, just to boost up. X is your devotion to green. You got another Chimera here. We already looked at that in the deck. Enchant creature control. When Succession Train enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's not, card draw is never a bad thing. Riptide Turtle. It's a flash defender, so put it out any time. It costs 2, and it's a 5 defender. It's never a bad thing to have defenders, just for blocking's sake. So enchantment aura, flash, enchanted creature. When aspect of mentor enters the battlefield, enchanted creature gains first strike until end of turn. So that's not bad at all, and it gets +2/+0. Voracious Typhon. I don't think that's Typhoon. It's just an escape, so it's a 4/4. Underworld Fires. Sorcery. Underworld Fires do 1 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. So that's a good wipe card. Of course, that's red, which is usually good for burning. Legendary creature, human wizard. Whenever enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying until end of turn. So that's not bad at all. Again, flying is definitely a good thing. We have Legacy or Saga here. First time, each player puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. Exile 2 target cards from graveyard for each creature card exiled. In this way, you gain 1 life. Return target creature card or land from your graveyard to your hand. So, hey, get something back. So here's a rare. So let's see. Enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another enchantment. If you do, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrifice enchantment's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So that's not bad at all for 4, and of course, land and another token. So I mean, all in all, with this one, let's see, what do we get for white here? Another Chimera. So we actually can't put that in the deck because I think it already had 4. Indomitable Will. So on this mix, we got 3 white cards. 1 we can't use. But, enchant creature, get a +1/+1 in vigilance. It really isn't bad just for 1, just to boost up any of your weaker creatures. And then enchantment aura with flash. I believe that was in the Elspeth deck. But, I mean, those aren't ever bad to have. Again, just something you can cast, at the last minute. Can definitely take your opponent's, off tilt. So, all in all, with the deck, I don't think it was a pretty bad thing. Okay, so the Elspeth deck, it really wasn't that. It wasn't bad at all. I mean, you can definitely kind of see how the deck construction works. I'm pretty sure there are other cards out there that probably might be a little bit better, but I will say, all in all, it's definitely a deck that's gonna work. Granted, with just a couple modifications that just stuff I would have liked to see just more of just in this deck alone that just came in this deck. And you got a few extra cards from the packs. For me, I really would not run just a 1 color deck, because a person could have just any random card that says, hey, protection from any color of your choice, or hey, protection from white, and then you're SOL. Well, hopefully not SOL. Hopefully them themselves don't have protection from white. But I mean, all in all, I think it's going to be a pretty decent deck. It's definitely not competitive, but it's definitely going to not just sit there and do anything. It does guarantee a lot, in some cases on Elspeth coming out, or you just pulling the right cards. So a couple really good shuffles, draw a few, play a little bit on MTG online, and that should go pretty well, and you should know about the deck and just how it goes. I will say, if you buy packs or anything like that, you're getting random cards, as we just saw, just opening the 2 packs that we had here. There's some good stuff in it. A lot more, commons and uncommons, of course, as always. Other packs, though, I mean, if you're gonna buy these, or because this is from Core Set 2021 or anything, any packs or just any box you buy, you want to buy those for the cards. Not to say you won't get your money back on it if you actually look at reselling and stuff like that, because you actually can, and there's plenty of people that do it. But all in all, if you're just starting out, I would recommend, number 1, buying, just buy a pre-constructed deck. Because as you saw, this really isn't a bad deck in itself, other than the fact, for me, it's just 1 color. But again, this is just something I chose randomly. The next one I'll probably I would probably go buy another Precon deck and just open that and see how that works with itself. And we can go through that together as well. But I mean, just for starting off, it's really going to be a good solid deck. And again, you can play it on Magic Arena Online or tabletop, which again I prefer. Just don't forget, go for card sleeves. Again, Dragon Shield is the one I mainly use, or Ultra Pro. I will say Ultra Pro had a bad rap in the beginning, but they've done a really good job at just bridging that gap and giving a really good product. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I would like to give a good, just a huge shout out to Blitzkrieg Gaming Comics. You can find their YouTube video here on the link below. They've done an absolutely amazing job with just their feedback, because I did talk to them about this video before. They helped me out with the playmat, and they helped me out with a few other items that we'll go through in other videos. But I mean, just an amazing group of people. They really are there for the Magic the Gathering community and the community itself. So please give them a like and a follow, as well as, don't forget to like and follow this if you'd like to get more updates or anything. And leave a comment of anything you would like to see. And I look forward to seeing y'all again next time. Thank y'all for coming out, and stay safe.